Hello everyone, welcome to another ODNT Spotlight. My name is Steve DeWinter, and today I am shining the spotlight on prolific author Andy... I promised him I would pronounce it correctly. So, Peloquin. I think I got it. So Andy Peloquin, and he's here promoting his latest book that just came out August 21st. And it is Blade of the Destroyer, which is book one in his last Bucellari series. I probably Bucellari'd that name too, so he'll correct me when we get over to that. So again, Blade of the Destroyer, which I will definitely talk about this cover. I love this cover. I love the whole shiny destroyer with the blood dripping off the bottom of it. That is very cool. But let's go ahead and let's switch on over and let's meet Andy. Hello, Andy. Welcome to ODNT Spotlight.
Hello. Great to be here.
Excellent. So let's go ahead and let's talk about Blade of the Destroyer. This one really delves into some dark issues. I read the first chapter of it, and I tell you, you sucked me in immediately with that story. I'm just like, I'm going to have to definitely check out this story and read more, because I really like the beginning of it, where this person is an assassin, but they have to be an assassin. How did that come about?
It's actually
without spoilers.
sort of... Yeah, no, I promise no spoilers. In my writing, I've been asked by my friends, the people who work with me, my beta readers, why? Why is this person doing what they're doing? Why is the villain, the hero, the hero? What makes them tick? And so when I started writing it, he was just this assassin who was badass and killed and did all these awesome things. But then they were like, there's nothing to this guy. So what's driving him? What's making him do it? And so it kind of evolved from there, and it became a much deeper, much more psychological thing.
Wow, very cool. So he's the original Batman.
Yeah, he's got this voice in his head that drives him to kill. So he kills just to kind of shut that voice up. But when he has killed and the voice is silent, he misses it. So it's this odd dichotomy between a desire for peace and loneliness.
Oh, interesting. So the voice is a whole separate entity, it seems.
Exactly.
But when it's not there, he misses it.
Exactly.
Wow, that is pretty interesting. So tell us a little bit about how this story came about for you. I know we talked about the why, but how did you come about this story? Because you wrote another novel before this one, and then you decided to start a whole new series. How did you come up with the concept of this character?
Well, this actually started out as a short story that I wrote for a competition where there's this guy. He's fleeing from this monster they called him the Hunter. That's all he knew him by. And it's just this thing that's sent to hunt him down and kill him. And so the point of view is from this guy who's running away, and the villain is the monster. But when I sat down to write, I was reading over some of my older works, and I was like, well, what if I made the monster the main character? And so that sparked the idea. And so the guy who dies in the beginning, the very first sentence, the guy who dies was the initial point of view character from the short story, and the Hunter became the main character of this story. And so it's like putting the villain in place of the hero.
So you have your anti-hero.
Oh, absolutely.
For that. So it's not the goody two-shoes guy. He's got some dark issues to work through.
Oh, absolutely. He's sort of paranoid, schizophrenic because of these voices that he hears in his head and that drive him to kill and stuff. And everything he does it in a very violent way.
And you like dealing with the darkness, and you were mentioning in the email that you sent to me as I was looking at this that you're dealing with a different neurological disorder with each story. So this is book one.
Yes.
So this one's dealing with what, schizophrenia?
Yeah, it's sort of a version of schizophrenia, introducing this character who's driven by these voices in his head. In book two, it deals with another character who has a slightly different form of schizophrenia meets PTSD. Then in book three, he deals with this child who has a neurological disorder called Williams syndrome, where this child doesn't understand fear. It doesn't understand that people out there would try to hurt him. He's just absolutely innocent to an extreme.
Oh, innocent and fearless.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh,
So, and then book four deals with the difference between sociopaths and psychopaths. And
boy,
then
you.
book five deals with what would drive a hero, like someone who is an upstanding citizen trying to do the right thing, what would turn them into a villain. And then book six deals with sort of postpartum depression mixed with Munchausen's by proxy, mixed with a couple of other
Oh,
things.
boy, that is impressive and very very aggressive concepts
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely.
So you've got your 6 book series planned out for the overall thing. How much of the writing have you actually figured out for these books? Or you just had the ideas?
Uh, no, I'm actually doing the second draft of book three right now. Book two is already with the publisher.
Wow.
And yeah, and I've already got the story planned out for book four, five, and six. So I'm going to start working on book four in the next couple of months.
And you'll get that out pretty quickly because when I was looking on your website, you have bragging rights on your speed of writing. You've got your world record is 24,000 in a day,
Yeah, that
and
was a
your
great day.
normal relaxed output is 16,000 words a day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And because I type about 90 correct words a minute.
Wow.
So I generally try not to do that much, but that's as much as I'll say. Okay, after this, my day is done.
Yeah, you got to cut out the line somewhere. Your line is
Yeah,
just much further than most people. But that
yeah,
brings
for
up
sure.
one of the myths around writing is that people like to think that fast writing is bad writing. And I can't think that that is true.
I don't think it's about the speed of the writing as much as the speed of the thinking.
Oh, yeah. So your brain
Because,
is
well, yeah, it's not only the story, but it's also the quality of the flow and the structure. And so when I sit down to write, I have the story mapped out. I'll usually take a week off between projects, and during that week, I'll have mapped everything out to the point where I can sit down and just start writing. So I don't have to worry about, okay, what story element's coming next, where is it going. I use that blueprint, so I focus on making it flow, using proper grammar, and then going back over it 2, 3 times, interacting with beta readers, alpha readers, working with an editor, a proofreader. By the end of it, it's gone through so many revisions that even if your first sentence when you wrote it the first time was terrible, by the end it's great.
All right, so on the line of pantser versus plotter, you clearly fall into the plotting side.
I definitely tend more towards plotting, but I will leave like the plot twists or the hooks for the next book just on inspiration.
Right, let that creative side take over.
Exactly.
But knowing what you have, what's coming next, enables you to get your fast writing without derailing yourself from the story too far.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I tend to be a little bit of a cherry picker. Like I kind of deviate from my story. So having the structure in place helps me to stay on topic.
So you utilize your outline to keep you on your path. And
Absolutely.
if you start to veer off, you go, I got to get back. Otherwise, all my work is for naught.
Well, yes and no, because there are some amazing elements of the story that have come up when I just allowed my brain to cherry pick a little bit.
Excellent. Excellent. So, as well as doing your writing for the fiction books where we have Blade of the Destroyer, you also are a heavy blogger and doing article writing for that.
Yes,
And
sir.
we were talking earlier before the show that your day job is writing, writing and
Yeah.
writing and writing. And then when that's done, you get to relax and write.
Yeah, yeah, it's sort of odd because I spend up to 8 to 10 hours a day sitting in the exact same chair, behind the exact same desk, staring at the same blank wall all day long.
But you still love the writing.
Oh, absolutely.
This is what you do, and you can't think of yourself doing anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
So excellent, excellent. And as well as doing the writing, a lot of people say that good writing is good reading. And you do a lot of reading. You even on your website review other people's books.
Absolutely.
How did
Absolutely.
that start?
Well, I was trying to launch this book. I was setting up for the launch of Blade of the Destroyer. I had finished it and was ready to self-publish it in December of 2014. And I decided, okay, I'm going to take some time to shop it around to different publishers and take time to set up a launch. So I thought of, okay, I'm going to add book reviews on my site. And one of the options for people who were submitting their book was, would you be willing to review a book of mine? And it doesn't affect my answer whether I review their book or not. But I found between 15 or 20 people who have said, yeah, sure,
No,
to
excellent.
review my book. Yeah. So it helps to get more people. And so it's how I've gotten almost 50 reviews in the last month.
That's excellent.
Yeah. And of course, it takes up far too much of my reading time. I don't get to read the books that I love or that I want to read as much. I do most of my reading on either audiobook or on my iPad while I'm at the gym on the treadmill and stuff. So on my iPad, it's taken up with book reviews. Audiobooks are all of my favorite books.
Yeah, audiobooks are the ones you listen to that you decided you want to listen to, but then you
Absolutely,
got the reviews.
for pleasure.
Then you got the reviews from everybody submitting to you saying, hey, review my book.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you post them on your website. Do you also post the reviews to places like Amazon and Goodreads and everything like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Excellent. So you've turned yourself into a book reviewer / blogger,
Yeah.
as well as, oh yeah, I've written books too.
Yeah. Well, it helps me to come up with content, because if I had to come up with 3 posts a week, it would be a little bit more difficult. I stick with between 3 or 4 blog posts a week. So Monday and Friday, I have just random thoughts, sometimes quotes, different things. And then Wednesdays and Saturdays, I have book reviews.
Excellent. And your blog is on your website.
Yeah.
It's not
exactly.
a separate one. Yeah, so for everybody watching the video here, I have a link to the bottom. If you're watching this embedded in another site, just click the little button in the corner that says Watch on YouTube, and then you can see the description down below, and I have a link to Andy's website, and from there you can check out his Thoughts and Ramblings section, which would, I guess, also includes your book reviews, or you've got a book review section too. Yeah, so for that, and if you're an author that would like to have a book reviewed, hey, it sounds like he's got lots of time on his hands. So get in contact with him and everything, and maybe he'll find a new author that he likes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I found a couple of amazing books because I've been doing this. And of course, some of them are a little bit harder to stomach.
Yeah. Sometimes you go, oh my goodness. And
Yeah,
that's,
no,
when you're dealing with the indie world and everything, people either self-publishing or working with small presses, you get a wider spread of what people consider acceptable and entertaining.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you also have a section on your site for comics. You love comic books.
Oh, absolutely.
And everything. And so you sit there and you point out some of the comics that you like there. But let's get back to you and about you. You've got a book. So right now we're promoting Blade of the Destroyer. But you did write a book before that, your practice book, shall we say, where you made all the mistakes, but then you fixed all your mistakes so that it came out to be a really, really good book. And this is a book on Atlantis.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun read. It's a combination of science fiction, historical fiction, fantasy, and metaphysical. It's set in Atlantis before it sank into the ocean. So it was really fun because I could pretty much do whatever I want with it. So it made for a great story.
Excellent. And this book right now, they can go to your website and they can click on the My Books link. And if they scroll down, they'll see a spot where they can put in their name and their email address and get this book sent to them for free in ebook.
Absolutely. And there's also a pop-up that'll come after 10, 15 seconds on the site. You can just do it there too.
Ah, excellent. Yeah, I closed that right away, so I don't remember when I was first checking things out. I'm like, I don't have time for pop-ups. I'm busy looking up this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But by all means, go to Andy's website and check that out, and you can get a free book for free to see how he is for that. And definitely go to Amazon, and all you have to do is read that first chapter, and I guarantee you, you're hooked. You're going to pick up Blade of the Destroyer. And it's part of a series called The Last Bucellari. Did I Bucellari that, or is that said correctly?
A little bit. It's Bucellari.
Bucellari. I did Bucellari it.
Yeah,
So
because
what?
if it had two C's, it would be the Italian ch, but it's just one, so it's the S sound.
Ah, Bucellari. Okay. So, and that's just in keeping with your pronunciation of your last name. We'll just make everything difficult. Why don't we?
Yeah, exactly. It's never easy. Yeah, no, my name is French Canadian, so technically it's supposed to be Peloquin, with the whole douchey accent and stuff. But I really just prefer Peloquin. It's much easier.
Peloquin's much easier to say.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this is The Last Bucellari by Andy Peloquin. And so tell us what a Bucellari is.
Well, it's originally from the Eastern Roman Empire back in I'm guessing the 300s to 600s. The Bucellari were the household troops of the nobles and the lords. And I read a series of books called the Belisarius series by, I think it's David Eddings, and it was an amazing series. And he has this series of household troops called the Bucellari, and so I was like, oh, that's awesome. I would love to do something like that. And so the name of Bucellari in this world, it means household troops. And
Oh.
slight spoiler alert: the main character, he's half demon, and the demons named their offspring Bucellari, which in the language that they speak means household troops. So it's kind of, there's that familiar term there, but it's used differently enough that it's acceptable.
Very nice, very nice. And so that explains the immortal aspect, or
Yeah,
near immortal, I
exactly.
think you put.
Yes, absolutely. Near immortal.
Near immortal. So what does that mean? Live forever but could be killed?
Exactly. Not necessarily live forever, but a very long lifespan, to the point where none of them have ever died of natural causes because the world isn't old enough yet.
Oh, very nice. So they don't even know their extent yet.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool, but there's the whispers that there might be something.
Yeah. Well, the whole point is that he's near immortal, because if he was truly immortal, there would be no story. There would be no tension, no fear of him being killed.
Ah, right. Yeah, we got to make sure that our hero or anti-heroes have some threat in their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent, excellent. So we did that. And so that book has been out a month, and you did a really good job of making your connections early on. And you said earlier that you were originally planning to self-publish this book,
Yes, sir.
but you now have a publisher instead.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, one of the mistakes, shall we say, that I made within the days was that I did all of my own editing and proofreading, and then I hired a professional to do it as well, but it wasn't the same quality control that you get with a publisher, multiple people giving you feedback and edits and stuff like that. So I wanted to
Right.
try that with this one.
And so you just went out and found a publisher?
Yeah, I decided, okay, I'm going to launch this book in March of 2015 because I had finished it in December. So in those 3 months, I sent it out to, I think, 10 or 15 different publishers, and this one picked it up. And so it delayed the launch until August, of course, but that just gave me more time to work on book 2 and to meet more people. So by the time my book was launched, I had about 250 people either blogging about it, tweeting about it, posting on Facebook, writing reviews, different things.
Right, so you gave yourself more time to build the buzz
Exactly.
around it. And congratulations on getting a publisher. I mean, it was a book that they said, this is going to be really good.
Yeah, hopefully.
And, I can tell from looking at the first chapter that I read, and I went to Amazon, looked at the preview, and wow, I was hooked right away.
That's awesome. Books 2, 3 through 6 are just going to be better.
Oh, they just get better as they go along.
Absolutely.
And so you have the 6 books planned out for this. Is that going to close down your series at the end of it, or you think you're going to leave it open for more, or are you going to go, it's time to write somebody else's story?
Well, I'm going to have, at the end of this 6-book series, it's going to close this particular loop, as it were. It opens up with the things that happen in book 1, and it's going to end in book 6. But the main character, there's going to be space for a prequel. There's going to be possibly room for more. I don't know. I don't have any future plans. But there's also going to be a secret side trilogy set in the same world, sort of in the same circles of crime and criminals. It's about a thief, a girl who's sold in slavery to a thieves guild,
Ah.
and how she survives. And she's going to cross paths, or there's going to be mentions of the hunter, because he does go to the city where she lives. And so there's going to be, a few callbacks and things like that that will be in the same world.
Oh, very nice. And so that's a little side secret trilogy.
Exactly.
And it doesn't sound like we're going to have to wait till all 6 books of these are out before that trilogy comes out, are we? Is it going to happen simultaneously?
No, I think I'm going to release all 6 of the Hunter books and then release all 3 of the trilogy either at the same time or month after month. Just like do it like that.
Wow, exciting. And
Yeah.
with the speed with which you can write, planning already 9 books to say, oh, I'm going to write 9 books, you'll be able to get through those pretty quickly and then get them into the process of the editing, get them to your publisher.
Yes.
And your publisher is going to be very happy with you because you're going to provide some
Yeah.
good quality product for them.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I've already got the first book of this trilogy written, and it's in the beta reading stage right now.
Oh, wow. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So moving on and faster and everything. And at the
Yes,
same
exactly.
time, you're writing all day long with your blogging and your book reviewing. And while you're doing all this, you're reading other books, you're blogging a lot. What you don't mention is whether you sleep or not.
I do. I get a solid 7 hours a night.
Wow, that's impressive. And you do it in less than 3 hours.
Yes, exactly.
It's power speed sleeping.
Yes. Yeah. No, actually, I don't have to work as much on the writing because I've developed my copywriting business, as it were. So I get better paid work. So I get to spend less time writing than I would, than I had to 4 or 5 years ago. So I have more time to dedicate to my writing. It's not quite 50-50, but it's maybe 60-40.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then you now you've gotten yourself up to skill level and respect and trust level from your blogging side that it
Yes.
pays you enough now that you can devote more time to what you really, really want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And eventually, I'm sure you want to shift that over to 100%, 0%.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we'll be seeing 6-book series from you every 2 months.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I like to limit myself to just writing maybe 1,000 to 3,000 words in a day. So I will, even though I have another hour or 2 to dedicate to it, be it on the weekend, I take Sundays off. I only work Saturday mornings just so that I can sort of keep the quality high, because I know that once I spend more than a couple of hours writing, my brain starts to tank and I can only have so much coffee.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
you need that downtime, that relaxed time, so that you can get right back into it and give us the quality that I definitely can tell when I see on the
Yeah.
page.
Exactly. For me, it's really all about giving more than just a great story, because as much fun as a story is, there has to be character depth, there has to be development, there has to be something more to it. So limiting what I do every day and not putting out books at the speed of one every 2 months or every 3 months. I prefer to take, like, I'm setting a goal of 1 book every 6 to 9 months, depending on the publisher.
Very good.
So that way it has, it takes me about 6 weeks per draft. I get the story written. I send it to my alpha readers. They take about 2 months to read it and get back to me. I take another 6 weeks to do the next draft, then to the beta readers. So by the time it actually gets to the publisher, it's been about 5 to 6 months worth of work.
Excellent. Excellent. And then they look at you and go, "You're a brilliant writer."
I wish.
And then they go through and they fix everything you missed.
Yeah, well, actually, thankfully, the editors are pretty good that they don't mess with it too much. Like, they'll tell me, okay, you got to fix this. But my writing's gotten a lot better in the last year or so. I just participated in this boot camp for writers run by a former editor for Disney.
Wow, exciting.
So that was quite the experience. And so I like looking back at the book 3 that I've been working on, the writing quality is much better than book 1 when it started out. So it's much less editing and much more focusing on the character development and the depth and all of that.
Well, just like any skill, the more you do it, the better you get. And that's, you're focusing on another one of the myths around writing is we're one of the few industries where people say you shouldn't practice.
Yeah.
You should just write the novel. Well, no, we need to keep
Yeah.
writing and keep practicing.
Absolutely.
So excellent, excellent. And it sounds like, your constant copywriting that you were doing is more practice and more practice of getting the right sentence
Yeah.
or your meaning
Definitely.
across. Excellent, excellent. All right, so we've talked about all the stuff that we came in to meet. So is there anything else before we close down and end the interview that you would like people to know about the great Andy Peloquin? No, I said that wrong again. Peloquin.
Yeah, it's okay. Peloquin, please.
Peloquin. Andy Peloquin.
Yeah. I just love talking to people. So anybody who wants to be my friend, drop me a line on Facebook, send me a tweet, send me an email. I'm super friendly. I spend most of my day at my desk, so I've got plenty of time for socializing.
Excellent. And we've got all your social links down below. Let's see, I'll have them all posted. I got your Facebook. I have your alternate Facebook site.
Yes.
Your Twitter, your Google+, your LinkedIn. So that's where you can connect with Andy, connect with him, go to his website, sign up for his newsletter, and as a thank you for signing up for his newsletter, he'll give you a free copy of, where did that book go? I just lost it. A free copy of that right there, In the Days, A Tale of the Forgotten Continent. And that sounds really good. All right. Well, hey, so thank you very much, Andy, for being on the show and letting me shine the spotlight on you and your work.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So go ahead and don't hang up just yet. Stay on the line. I'm going to go ahead and close out the interview, and then I'll come back to you and we'll chat for a couple more minutes.
Sounds good.
So thank you very much. I'll be right back. Okay, so we just got done talking with Andy Peloquin of Blade, the author of Blade of the Destroyer, book 1 of a planned 6-book series with another 3-book secret, you heard it here first, trilogy side series for it. And it was definitely enjoyable to talk with him. And by all means, I highly suggest you go check out this book, Blade of the Destroyer. You're going to read the preview and immediately click the buy button, just like I'm about to do probably later on this afternoon. But thank you very much for watching us shine the spotlight on Andy and for tuning into ODNT. Once again, I'm Steve DeWinter. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can be informed of the next interviews we have. We have more authors, artists, illustrators, musicians, actors. Anybody who will come on my show, I've got them here. And just sign up for ODNT, subscribe so that you be informed of when they come out. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.